Alright, hello boys and girls. Today we're going to talk about how to save your files here. So I am going to jump over here to Photoshop, and in Photoshop we've got a file. When you're working in Photoshop, you'll be working in Photoshop documents. So if you make a new document, you will be making an 8 by 10 by 300. We'll just call this test file John G. So I got an 8 by 10 by 300. We're going to go ahead and create that file. Files that we create in Photoshop are always going to be uh, Photoshop documents, ending in a PSD for Photoshop documents. So if I go to File, you go to Save, and you notice you have three saves. You have Save, Save As, and Save a Copy. When you first save will be grayed out because Save will save wherever you've told it to save and whatever you call it and whatever file format you've established. When you first have to save it, you have to Save As, which will tell we're going to tell the program where we want to save it, what kind of file we're going to call it, and where we want to put it. Okay. We will always put these in our computer. You won't save it to the cloud. We'll go to save on your computer. Okay. Once you get in here, usually your file is going to open up looking like this, and it might be hard to kind of see here. And let's just set this back to a regular Photoshop document. So you might see this. In order to see kind of your entire array, you'll want to hit this little drop-down menu here, which will open up everything. If yours doesn't open up quite as big, go ahead and drag that by the corner of that window, pull that wide open. Over here, you will have your locations that you have available to save. Okay, in our school environment, we are going to save everything to our Google Drive. We're going to go Google Drive, My Drive, and we're going to save that to Cookie Fingers. Everything you are going to make will be saved to Cookie Fingers. In Cookie Fingers, I have all kinds of files in here, but you will probably only have a few things if you're just starting, or if you've had another class, you'll have that here. But that's where you will save all of this information. Okay, to make yours look like mine, I've got mine set as columns. I also have them arranged by kind. Arranging by kind is a little bit better than arranging by your name or alphabetical, especially if you have like several hundred files all called your name. So this puts all your folders at the top, puts all of your PDFs together, all your Photoshop documents, all your images, all of those things kind of grouped together right there. Okay. Now again, here's what the file is called. If it's not called the right thing, change it. It should always be called the name of the file in your name. Where is it going to be saved? To Cookie Fingers. It's where we want to go. Format is Photoshop, and we can go ahead and say save that file, and then that'll save that file. Now you will have the option to save. Well, we got to do something here. Let's put a shape on here, and we'll just grab here and we'll make a shape. Now, once I do a change here, you'll see I have save available. And when you hear me say hit Command S and save your progress, that's what I'm telling you. Save whatever you've recently done. It does not auto-save. Save as, we would push if we needed to change the name and the location it would go. Save a copy is what we're going to use when we're ready to turn this in. So let's say I'm done with my assignment. I'm ready to do it. I would hit Command S or go up and say save again, and that'll save my progress, save it as a Photoshop document in case I need to go back to it. Now I need to go to save a copy because we're going to change the format in order to turn it into Google Classroom. So we're going to go to save a copy. It's going to open back up to our file. Again, we're going to go to Google Drive, My Drive, to Cookie Fingers, and it's called test file John G. Copy PSD. We don't want to turn in a PSD file because we can't see those on Google Classroom. You need to change the format. The only thing they can see a Photoshop document is Photoshop. Still going to Cookie Fingers, it's where we want, but the format we want to change to a JPEG or a Photoshop PDF. One of those two formats. So I would change this to a JPEG if I'm ready for that, or I would change it to a Photoshop PDF. Where did it go? There we go, right there. And then we're ready to go, and then we'd save that. You get some warnings here when you go to JPEG or PDF. You might get a pop-up. Any options for those files? We don't change anything on that. and you go. You also might get a pop-up that says save for maximum compatibility with older versions of Photoshop. You go ahead and just say OK on that. Photoshop's been around for 40 years. Not everybody has the same version. That's all that means. I'll make it compatible with all versions. So you got that. So also, after we do this, we're going to take a screenshot. To take a screenshot of a file, you would go and you're going to hit your Command plus your Shift key plus the number 3. I'm going to go ahead and get my type tool here, and we'll just go ahead and we'll write that out here. Let's say we want to have Command plus Shift plus the number 3. A little more legible here. That is how you take a screenshot. Okay, so I would go Command, Shift, and the number 3. You're going to see a little pop-up right here. That's where it shows that I made my screenshot. We don't need to do anything here. We just need to recover it to turn in. So when I'm ready to turn in my files, I would go and I'm going to pull up my Finder here, and I'm going to go to Finder, pull it up here. When I'm ready to turn in, I would go to my Google Drive, My Drive, Cookie Fingers. I would find the file I just turned in. We called that test file John G, and I want the PDF or the JPEG. That's the one I'm going to turn into my Google Classroom. And then I also want to turn in the screenshot. The screenshot's going to always go to your desktop. So I'll go to desktop, and I will go, and my screenshot's going to be the last one I took right here. There it is right there. It's always going to have screenshot, the day and time you took it with a timestamp there, and then you'll turn that in. Those are PNGs, and you turn those in on Google Classroom as well. Okay, so if you have any questions, please let me know, but that should answer all your questions on how to change format, how to turn in your files, and how to successfully take a screenshot and retrieve that. Everybody have a super day. I'll talk to you soon.